Hello and welcome to episode number 50 of the We Were Athletes Once podcast. Not gonna lie, didn't think we'd have the patience to make it to 50, but we are absolutely loving what we're doing, so it makes it easier. I am Kyle, who, if you're new here, am always right. And we will talk about that throughout this episode.
Don't start with me.
And I am joined by Koty, who no matter how many times he interrupts me and says no to everything I say, needs to learn that I am always right. Koty, say hi to the people.
Hello, everybody. Don't listen to him still. Everyone gets lucky sometimes. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
Yeah, and we'll talk about why I'm always right as we go on through this episode. But I am glad for us to be back recording episode 50. Little peek behind the curtain. I have been dying all week. I have been so sick, and so if I start choking and coughing all throughout this episode, sorry, that's on me. If my voice sounds a little hoarse, that's why. But yeah,
So you're trying to be the Packers.
Huh?
You're trying to be the Packers over there.
Always.
I guess the Jags did it too.
You're
so.
gonna make me sad. I'm
Good.
I'm taking my victory lap
What you
right
get
now.
for calling me out.
I'm taking my victory lap right now. Yeah, so this week we're talking about the NFL because tomorrow or today, depending on when I get this up, is going to be the NFL's divisional round of the playoffs. The final 8 teams, Koty, we are already in mid-January. We are a few weeks away from the Super Bowl. This season, part of me feels like it's flown by and part of me feels like it's taken forever.
Well, as a Chiefs fan, it feels like it's taken forever. This has been a rough one for us. Um, no one's gonna have sympathy for the Chiefs fan. I know, and that's fine. But I went through a lot of crappy years as a Chiefs fan to get to this point, so I'm gonna enjoy it until Mahomes is gone.
There we go. Yeah, so basically what we're going to be doing, we're going to recap all the episodes from Wildcard Week, or all the games from Wildcard Week. We are going to preview the games that are coming up in the divisional round, and Koty will be updating his playoff predictions. Spoiler alert, mine are going to stay exactly the same. But I will talk about who I think is going to win each game, but Koty, what do you think about last week's games?
I was surprised slightly. But like we talked about before, like almost every single game was a coin flip. We said it time and time again. I wouldn't be surprised if any team beat any team. Except we didn't think that the Rams Panthers was going to be a coin flip, and man, did the Rams try and make it that. I did not think that the Steelers and Texans game was either, and honestly, it was probably the only one that really wasn't. I mean, maybe the Patriots game, but yeah, I think it lived up to it. We had some really close games that went back and forth that came down to the last possession, and it's what you want to see in the playoffs. You don't want to see a bunch of blowouts. You want to see these close games that come down to the wire to see who's going to clutch up and win it, and I think that's what we saw this week. So I enjoyed every second of it, except the fact that we had to wait till Monday to watch the last game.
Yeah, they need to fix that with the scheduling, but it's neither here nor there. So yeah, let's go through this, and we're gonna go in order of when teams play this week. So we are actually going to start with the Bills and the Jags because the Bills and Broncos play the first game this week. And the Bills and Jags, it was a great game. I didn't get to watch a whole lot of it because I was busy doing other things on Sunday at that time. But, ended up with a touchdown drive for The Bills on a tush push. At the end of that game, there were 4 different lead changes throughout 4 separate drives. Very good back and forth game. And the Bills end up winning it, but we've been talking about it for a while. Credit to Trevor Lawrence, credit to Liam Cohen, and credit to this Jaguars offense or this Jaguars team for what they've been able to do throughout the past 2 months or so.
Yeah. I wouldn't call what happened there a tush push. That was a QB sneak that got stuffed after he'd already gotten the first down, and then the whole team just shoved the pile 6 more yards. It was insane. Um, but yeah, this was a really fun game. I had a couple of issues with things, and it was not giving James Cook the ball more often. I thought they needed to run the ball more. He is their best weapon since Josh Allen has not a lot of good options to throw the ball to. Khalil Shakir was 12 for 12, but it was only for 82 yards, and that was your leading receiver. It was fine. There was a lot of little dump offs, little short little passes for Josh Allen. Um, he did run 11 times, but again, it was only like 33 yards. Like he didn't do a lot with his legs. I thought the Jags D did a good job of containing him and containing that offense, and they gave their offense a really good chance to win. Um, but Trevor Lawrence turned the ball over twice, and you can't do that in the playoffs. You're going to lose if you do that. Again, same thing over there. I thought they need to give the ball to ETN more. He only had 10 carries. Um, you had Trevor Lawrence throw the ball 30 times, and he didn't look great doing it. We kind of saw right off the bat this a repeat of the last time he was in the playoffs. He looked awful early on in that game and kind of got them in a hole early. But then they came back and they looked like the better team. That defense was playing good. The offense finally started moving the ball. He had 3 touchdown passes, but and shout out to Parker Washington. Dude was has turned into their number one receiver. 7 catches for 107 and a touchdown. He was really good, and I thought their defense gave him a really good chance to win. Um, but those turnovers, man, they were ultimately the thing that cost them.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence kind of looked like he did towards the beginning of the season on Sunday. 18 of 30, 207 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks. It's kind of what you'd expect from him in the first couple weeks. Again, played great throughout the past, towards the end of the season, the second half, but couldn't really get it done when it matters. I think that will change at some point. Trevor Lawrence is still only 25, 26 years old. Still hasn't played all that long in the NFL. Sometimes these things take time, especially when you don't have the best supporting cast around you for the most part in your career. This is the best supporting cast he's had, and I do
Yeah,
think it will get better. And this is the best coach he's had, and I do think everything will look better. And this is a really young team that's going to be very good for years to come.
yeah.
Um,
I don't have. This is just a not a great playoff game for Trevor Lawrence, but we saw what he did down the stretch. They won 8 in a row coming into this game, and he was a big reason why. So I do think there's still a big future there for him. Like there are so many people putting the bust label on him, and I don't think that's fair, and I don't think that's true. Um, he got more money than he should have because that's how quarterback money works. Um, I do wish he would have thrown the ball to Jacoby Myers more this game, though. You can only target him 4 times.
yeah, and then looking at the Bills side of things, it kind of looks like the same type of Bills win that we've been seeing for the entire season. It hasn't always looked pretty. Um, James Cook, we can say he needed to run the ball more, which might be true, but ran the ball 15 times, only had 3 yards per carry.
Yeah,
Uh,
it wasn't his best game.
Josh Allen, 28 of 35, but despite completing 28 passes, only threw for 273 yards and a touchdown. Only ran the ball 33 yards despite running it 11 times. They kind of didn't put themselves in positions to make mistakes, which that ultimately decided the game, but it's not necessarily the electric Bills offense that we've been used to seeing over the past few years, but it's kind of that same offense or that same team of this win is not going to look pretty, but we're going to get it done that we've seen all year.
Yep.
So yeah, it's good for the Bills. I am curious what you think about their matchup going forward because now they are playing the 1 seed. They are playing the Denver Broncos. If you watched our episodes from the past few weeks, you would know that I am a little bit higher on the Broncos than Koty is. So I'm interested to see what he thinks about this matchup.
Josh Allen's going to beat the Denver Broncos.
You have the Bills winning this game.
I do. Um, if I had picked the other way of the coin flip, I just don't like Denver's offense enough. That's my biggest thing. Denver's defense is very good, but I think the way that Josh Allen plays could be problematic for Denver's defense. Um, they do a good job on the outside against the wide receivers. I think this game is going to be a game that James Cook is going to run the ball well. I think the Denver's defense and Nick Benito gets after the quarterback really well. You're going to have to put a spy out there because Josh Allen is going to be able to roll out a pocket and escape from some of these defenders. So I like what the Bills can potentially do on offense to negate some of that good defense from the Broncos, but I just don't like the Broncos offense. They don't run the ball well enough. Um, and they have Cortland Sutton, and that's basically it. And I don't trust Bo Nix, and that's where I'm at with it. I don't trust Bo Nix, and Josh Allen has a clutch factor. And again, Buffalo probably has a Super Bowl if their defense doesn't let Josh Allen down with 13 seconds left in a game. Um,
Multiple
so,
times. Not
yeah,
necessarily
multiple
13
times.
seconds left, but multiple times.
Yeah, well, lost it with a minute and a half and then lost it with 13 seconds. So, it's not Josh Allen. Josh Allen is clutch and gets the job done when it matters, and I think he's going to do it again.
Yeah, and again, we've been talking about this for the past 2 episodes now, but this is kind of a playoff where there's more parity now than ever. There is
We,
more
there's
open.
no like juggernaut in this league right now that's
Yeah.
just gonna plow through everyone.
And you wouldn't necessarily think that with the only team that has been a juggernaut over the past few years that are currently in the playoffs being a Josh Allen led Buffalo Bills team. But
Six
again,
seed.
like we've been saying, they were the 6 seed. They look very different this year. And as much as I have faith in Josh Allen, I really like this Broncos defense, and I think their offense does enough. Again, I'm a lot higher on Bo Nix than you are, and so I do have the Broncos winning this game. But again, I won't be shocked if the Bills end up coming through with this. If this is finally the Bills' year where they win the Super Bowl, good on Bills fans. Good on the Bills for finally getting it done. I am.
Josh
I've been
Allen
rooting.
carried. That's what happened there.
Josh Allen carried. I've been rooting for the Bills for the last I don't know how many years. It's normally been for a Packers Bills Super Bowl that the Packers win, but uh, I'll be happy if the Bills win. But I think I have the Broncos taking this game.
Uh, it's funny because our school officer is a Denver Broncos fan, and before the playoff starts, he goes, "We're gonna get the 1 seed. Somehow, we're gonna get the freaking Buffalo, and Josh Allen is gonna beat us." And then they win. First thing that happens when I get to school on Monday, he's like, "I told you we're gonna freaking lose to the Bills." So he doesn't
Yeah,
seem too confident either, and that's from a Broncos fan.
and I wouldn't feel confident if I were a Broncos fan, but I wouldn't feel confident if I were any team's fan right now.
No, no team is safe.
Speaking of not feeling confident, let's go to the other game that you got wrong. Because
Wow.
the
Just glaze
other
yourself.
the other game that's being played tomorrow or today, again depending on when we get this out, is the 49ers and the Seahawks, because the 49ers ended up beating the Philadelphia Eagles by a score of 23-19. And I think you were right to an extent, because this Eagles
Yeah,
defense played a very good game. Played a good game in terms of they
good
needed
game.
to stop the run. They needed to stop Christian McCaffrey, and he had 15 carries for 48 yards. They did their job. The issue that they had is that Brock Purdy also did his job. He got the
Without George
ball,
Kittle,
yeah, without George Kittle because he got hurt. I believe he's out for the playoffs.
out. Tore his
But
Achilles.
oh, really? I thought it was a broken leg or something like that. But I didn't see
Maybe
what
it
the
was. It looks like Achilles popped.
I didn't
I'd
see
have to
exactly what the injury was, and
double check.
regardless, it either one of those would be out for the season. But yeah, in this game,
Yeah, he's out for sure.
Brock Purdy, 18 of 31, 262, two touchdowns. Again, did throw two picks because this was a very strong Eagles defense. Also got sacked once, but what he was missing with George Kittle, Demarcus Robinson, 6 catches for 111 yards and a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey, 6 catches, 66 yards, and two touchdowns. Kyle Juszczyk, 4 catches for 49 yards. And
Clutch
they
one
even.
too.
What's that?
He had a clutch one too.
Yeah.
Use
And
check.
even got to the point to where they had a little fun. Jawan Jennings got in there and threw a touchdown on a trick play. What did you think about this game?
The Eagles did what they needed to do on defense. Um, what I think is that AJ Brown sold hard, and he played his last game as an Eagle. That's what I think.
Good for
Um,
everyone involved, if that's the case. Good for everyone
they
involved.
freaking yeah, like there's a yelling match with Sirianni on the field. He's dropping passes in crucial times where he's wide open. It it was bad. Like if he catches the two just blatantly bad drops, the Eagles win that game. Because their defense did what it needed to do. Could it have been a little better? Yeah, it could have. But it did enough. And Philly's offense just wasn't great. Also, I think Nick Sirianni should be fired, but I've been saying that for multiple years now. I don't care that he just won a Super Bowl. I don't think he's a good coach. I don't think he has clock management. I don't think he has a good game flow calling an offense. I don't like Nick Sirianni.
Yeah,
And I think a defense won him a Super Bowl.
I think Nick Sirianni's earned his keep for a while, but
I don't like him.
I see where you're coming from with that. Um, yeah, in terms of the whole AJ
You had
Brown thing,
Saquon Barkley run for over 100 yards. Like, if you do that in a playoff game, it means you have control of the clock. Jalen Hurts was 20 of 35 for 168. He's not a good quarterback. How many times do I have to say this? He's not a good quarterback. Everyone who glazes Jalen Hurts is ignorant. I don't know what you're watching outside of his stupid tush pushes every other play. He does not do things well.
yeah, and in terms of the whole AJ Brown thing, I say good on everyone's part because I think AJ
Except for AJ
Brown.
Brown.
No, I think AJ Brown needs to go to a place that actually has a quarterback that can throw him the ball consistently. I
That's
think.
fair.
I also think the
Have you seen
Eagles
his
need.
contract though?
I mean I haven't looked too deep into it, but I know it's a pretty
I
big
hate
one.
NFL contracts. They're stupid to me. Um, if they trade him, it's almost all dead money. I don't know. Like it's going to be hard to trade him and just eat that.
Yeah, I don't love the whole dead cap situation that they do whenever it comes to
Makes no sense.
specifically whenever it comes to trades. But and I say good for everyone involved also because I think if AJ Brown is able to get out of that locker room, I do think it helps the Eagles locker room because he has been a
Hmm.
problem over the past 2 years. I understand he's been very disappointed. He's been very upset with how their offense has been ran. You don't go on streams on Twitch or whatever he was on and trash your quarterback and trash your offense in that public of a sense, especially when you also take every opportunity you can to do it to the media. Uh, I think it's time for that whole marriage to end. Um, it's unfortunate how things have gone, but they did get a Super Bowl out of it. So,
If here just a quick, if they trade him before June 1st, $43.5 million dead cap next year. If they trade him after June 1st, they can split it between 26 and 27, and it would be about 16 and a half and then 27 the following year. That's hard to trade.
stupid.
But what
Yeah.
it would do for the locker room would change everything in that culture, I
Oh,
think.
it'd be
But
worth it. But
good on the 49ers for figuring it out. I don't think they win again because
well,
that's what you're going to ask me next.
talk about that matchup. 49ers versus Seahawks. How do you
We've
see that
seen it
game?
twice already. We've seen it twice already. We saw it week 18 in Santa Clara. Winner take all for the division in the 1 seed in the bye, and they mustered up 3 points. This, like, even if Sam Darnold doesn't show up, they scored 3 points. Like, it's not like the Seahawks offense was dominant. They only scored 13. And for some reason, the Vegas has the betting line at like 45 and a half points for this game. Everyone go bet the under and you're going to win. This defense is not giving up 20 points. So for me, this is a game. Seattle's defense is going to lock everything down like they have in the past against them. And they just need Sam Darnold to not look like Darnold from the Jets. And they win this game pretty easily, in my opinion. Um, I think Clint Kubiak is going to try and take the ball out of Sam Darnold's hands. And I think the smartest thing is if they can't run the ball, that they use short passes, bubble screens, things like that as an extension of the run game and dink and dump passes, control the clock, and play a safe offensive game. Because if they play a safe offensive game where they don't turn the ball over, they are absolutely going to win this game. That defense is going to stop the 49ers because they've done it already.
Yeah, and I don't even necessarily think the smartest play is take the ball out of Josh Allen, Sam Darnold's hands. But it's
They would love to
find
have Josh Allen.
but it's
It would
find a
be
way
filthy.
to get the ball into your receivers' hands because your receivers are the best part of your offense. It's
100%.
like you said, bubble screens to JSN, bubble screens, short passes to Rashid Shaheed. Do whatever you can to get even Cooper Cup involved. Get
Cooper Cup, get
anyone,
him short yardage, let him run the ball.
because running the ball with this offense, I also don't really know if it's the answer.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's not great. I think they're going to
and
try, and if it doesn't work, then we're going to see that type of offense from them as
yeah,
their extension to the run.
and we're looking at their last game where the Seahawks won that game 13-3. There's also another game that we have to look at that they played where the 49ers end up winning that game 17-13. That a lot of what the 49ers or it there's a lot that this game does really depend on because I do think the 49ers are the best coach team in the NFL. I think Kyle Shanahan is, no matter how many times people try to make it happen, you can't really find another Sean McVay. You can't really find another Kyle Shanahan. Like, these are guys that are truly elite coaches.
Yeah,
Um,
he can make any quarterback good.
he can. And
We saw it with Brock Purdy out.
despite this defense and this offense being ravaged by injuries, here we are in the second round of the playoffs, and they're still here.
They keep winning.
So I do think the Seahawks are going to end up winning this game because I've been saying for how long that this defense is probably the best
The
defense
best
in the
in
NFL,
football.
and this team overall might be the best overall team in the NFL. Um, but I do think the 49ers are going to make it a game. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game, but I do think the 49ers can make it a game. And I do think Kyle Shanahan could end up doing the same thing that he did against the Eagles, which is a really tough defense, and find a way for this offense to work. You know, again, I think they're going to focus a lot on stopping Christian McCaffrey, and
As they
it's going to
should.
come down to, can Brock Purdy find the holes in that defense? Can his wide receivers find the holes in the zone coverage and sit in that zone coverage? Because I don't think man coverage is going to work very well for these 49ers receivers. But I could see this being a game.
Yeah, I just don't see it being. I don't know. It's going to be a boring game to watch if you like offense. If you like defense, though, you're in for a treat. Like, I don't know how Vegas puts a 45 points on there when the two games they've played has been 46 total points. It does not make sense to me.
Yeah, it's not going to be 45 points. It's going to, the Seahawks are probably going to score 13, and it's going to depend on if the 49ers can score more than 13.
I literally heard what the point total was, and I'm like, what freaking app do I need to get on and start betting lots of money on this?
Yeah,
Because that is like a slam dunk pick.
I don't bet on anything. I'm not a betting man, but I might end up putting a bet on that
It's,
game on the
it's
under.
so bad.
Okay, this so for the other two matchups, we have two games to talk about that just happened. Let's go to the Texans and the Steelers. Um, actually, no. Let's go to the Patriots and the Chargers because the Texans and Steelers, part of it's going to make me sad, and I'll talk about why later. But
Because
yeah,
Aaron Rodgers isn't.
yeah. Patriots and Steelers, or Patriots and Chargers. Sorry. Uh, this was a very uninspired game by the Chargers. The final score was 16-3. The Chargers couldn't get anything going. I believe Justin Herbert was sacked 6 times or 4 times or something like
It
that.
was not good.
And we knew how good this Patriots defense was, and we also knew how bad this Chargers offense in general was. But I don't know. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, it didn't inspire me for either team, actually. It kind of put some question marks with me for the Patriots. Um, I didn't think the Patriots were going to lose this game. Obviously, I picked them. Um, but that offense didn't look amazing to me. And I don't know. Yeah, Herbert was sacked 6 times. It was ugly. He was under fire a lot, and we knew that. It was funny that they do their little intros of all their players, and it shows like their position rank. And I watched it, and every single offensive lineman for the Chargers was either second to last or dead last. Um, you can't win behind that line. Like you got to get some players healthy. Obviously, you've got some pieces that are hurt, but you got to do a better job of protecting your franchise quarterback because Justin Herbert should be a top five quarterback in this league. And I think talent wise, he absolutely is. Maybe even top three. I think he's got a lot of talent and a lot of good things there, but he doesn't have time to do anything. And I think he's a little shell shocked and hurts himself at times because he's so scared he's going to get hit. It almost reminds me of, the Mark Bolger effect when he was with the Rams just getting shelled. But he was your leading rusher. That is not going to be good for your game. Um, but yeah, I just you can't do anything offensively. It's over. But like I said, Drake May was okay. He got sacked 5 times. He had an interception. He was your leading rusher. Like those are all no nos for me in the playoffs. Ramondre, like he had just as many carries as Ramondre Stevenson, and he had more carries than Travion Henderson. What did Travion Henderson do to you, Mike Vrabel? Like we had this ongoing joke at the beginning of the year, and then they were like, "Oh, he's really good. Let's just keep giving him the ball." And now the playoffs are here. Nope, back to the doghouse. Like I think for them to win this next game, they have to start handing him the ball more. I like he wasn't the most efficient this game, and Ramondre Stevenson did have a good game. He was averaging over 5 yards per carry, so I'm not taking anything away from him. I just don't like you had 29 carries and 10 of them came from your quarterback. I would like to see that change, especially when he wasn't super efficient through the air this game.
Yeah, I saw something on social media that I want to talk about real quick before I get into the Patriots. It's about the Chargers and it's about Justin Herbert because so many fans, and I don't know if they're AFC West fans that aren't Chargers fans or just dumb NFL fans in general, because there's a lot of those that are saying, "Oh yeah, this is Chargers fans' hero or whatever. This is the guy that the Chargers are relying on." Blah blah blah. He's not even a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
They're stupid.
Stupid. Um, because and
Come at me.
normally people don't, or well, so obviously once people say that, they say, "Oh well," like the response is, "Look at what Justin Herbert has around him right now. No one can really succeed with this. Their entire offensive line is injured. Their receiving core is good, but it's nothing special. It's 3-year-old Keenan Allen, Lad McConkey, who's a good wide receiver, but he's been working as your 3 basically for most of the season,
Underutilized.
and Quentin Johnston, who is about as hit or miss as it gets. And
They got your boy that you love.
yeah, I mean, Aronde Gadsden is good, but like he's also a rookie. He's a
Yeah.
21-year-old, 22-year-old rookie who was a wide receiver for most of his college career. And these people,
If we're going
these
down this path, how upset are they about taking Amarian Hampton with the pick this year?
I don't think they are. I think it was a weird year. He got injured. I don't think he was really able to get into a groove when he came
I was
back.
gonna say he just didn't look good this
And
year.
again, their offensive line is awful.
But their line
And
is crap. So
I see people respond to that with, "Oh, well, Joe Burrow was able to do it. Joe Burrow got sacked 8 times a game." First of all, Joe
yeah.
Burrow is a psychopath. And second of all,
Who
Joe
might
Burrow,
retire?
yeah. And second of all, Joe Burrow had Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon. He had the best offensive group around that offensive line ever, possibly.
My only
And
problem with it is Kamani Vidal, or how I don't even know what they want to call him. I'm gonna keep calling him Kamani Vidal. Had really good games even behind that terrible line, and that's why I'm like, are they questioning their pick in Hampton because he looked rough almost
it
every game he
was
played. He had
it
like
was
one
kind
good
of
game.
it was kind of an every other week thing for Vidal. He was very hit or miss this year. Uh, I think Kamani Vidal's a good running back too. I think they have a really good running back duo right now in that Chargers backfield.
They
I
need an
just don't
offensive
think.
line, and they probably need a legit number one receiver. Like
Yeah,
I like
and
their supporting pieces. I don't think they have a guy. Like what if AJ Brown came here? Like that would be filthy.
that would be fun. And I am curious what they're going to do with what I believe will end up being a new offensive coordinator because I think Jesse Minter is their offensive coordinator right now, and he is very much so rumored to get a head coaching job. So I'm interested to see what they might do with that, or even if he's back. Like, I'd like to see something different instead of just what we've seen at Michigan under under Jim Harbaugh for how long?
They like to use tight ends. They like to run the ball. Your offense has to open up more than that. This is the NFL. You have to be able to throw the ball.
Yeah, and then in terms of this Patriots team, I don't necessarily think I'm that worried. I don't love the fact that Drake May got sacked 5 times. He did end up throwing a pick in this game. And the big thing that scares me is that you talked a little bit about Ramondre Stevenson. Ramondre Stevenson was also the Patriots' leading receiver in this game. He had 3 catches for 75
Didn't even
yards.
see that.
Yeah, he had 3 catches for 75 yards. Kayshon Boutte had 4 for 66. Hunter Henry had 3 for 64 and a touchdown. Drake May, the stats are fine. I would like to see them be better, but I do think, spoiler going into what this next matchup is going to be, I do think it's going to be enough to outplay what the Texans are going to be able to do on offense.
Listen, Kyle Williams has to have more than one target. I know he's a rookie, but he looks good and he's developing and has gotten better every game this season. Please throw Kyle Williams the football and please throw Stephon Diggs the football more than 5 times. Those should be your highest targets. I mean, fine if it's Hunter Henry because you're going short passes up the middle. I'm okay with
I
that.
like Kayshon
But
Boutte too.
yeah, I know you do. He was very hit or miss for me also. So I just
There's
think you need to start trying to get the ball and it's like, yeah, that's not good. Ramondre Stevenson cannot be your leading receiver.
yeah,
I mean, he did have one for 48 yards, so
Ramondre Stevenson, Efton Chisholm, Travion Henderson,
who?
and Jack Westover are all people that had
Who?
more receiving yards than Kyle Williams, and that cannot happen.
No. I've never even heard of Westover and Chisholm.
I've heard of Efton Chisholm. Jack Westover is like, I think their fourth or fifth tight end on their
He's
roster.
a fullback.
Is
He's
he? I don't think
listed
he
as a
is.
fullback. I'm looking at it right now. He is
Maybe he is.
listed as a fullback. I didn't know those existed anymore outside of Kyle Juszczyk.
That's funny. And then let's move on to the Texans and the Steelers. This game went about how you thought it would. Texans ended up winning this game. I believe it was 30-8,
6.
30-6. It was very much so padded towards the end of the game by a strip sack fumble, return for a touchdown, and a pick six. This Steelers offense couldn't really get anything going against a really good Texans defense, and it is very unfortunate that this is most likely how Aaron Rodgers' career is going to end. Right now, the Steelers are trying to convince him to come back for one more year, but without Mike Tomlin, I don't know if the new head coach will want him back. So it's unfortunate that that's how we're going to see Aaron Rodgers' career end. His last career NFL pass was a pick six, which he's notoriously great for not throwing. I don't know. What's your thoughts on this game?
This is the other game I thought that was not going to be a close game. I don't like the Steelers offense all year. This Texans defense, I think, is the second best defense in football after Seattle. And I thought they were going to pulverize the Steelers offense, and they did. You got outscored 12-6 by their defense. It was late in the game. I don't care. Their defense stopped you repeatedly, and you got nothing going. It's yeah, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. Now my problem with this game, it This is how bad the Steelers' defense was, or offense was. CJ Stroud tried to lose that game. He put the ball on the ground 5 times. Five. This many. I almost had to use a second hand. That's a problem. You cannot do that ever again if you want to win. You just got lucky that your defense is that good and the Steelers' offense is that bad. But CJ Stroud was bad. And it wasn't necessarily like, yeah, his offensive line isn't amazing. You can't put the ball on the ground 5 times. Period. End of discussion.
Yeah, and I mean, as a collective group, the Steelers team just did not play good. Woody Marks had 19 carries for 112 yards and a touchdown. Christian
Great game.
Kirk had 8 catches for 144
Great game.
yards and a touchdown. Um, I mean, Nico Collins was nowhere to be found, and
Well, he got
they
knocked
were,
out with a concussion, and he is
yeah,
out for tomorrow or Sunday.
yeah, he was out for a good amount of the game, and a receiver not named Nico Collins had a game like that. It just can't happen. Uh, the Steelers deserve to lose this game. They both did deserve to lose this game, but yeah, I don't know.
Steelers more.
It, yeah, very much so. So I talked about my pick for this Patriots Texans game. Who do you got?
This is really hard for me. Because last week I would have told you the Patriots easily, but the Patriots offense looked bad to me. And you can't look not good against this Texans defense because they are excellent. I think they are going to be a problem for the Patriots. My only problem is CJ Stroud was so bad that it's hard to pick them here. Um, Woody Marks was good. If Nico Collins wasn't out, I would 100% be on board for the Texans upsetting them. Now it's hard for me to do that because I don't know if they can do anything. Um, do you take the runner up or do you take the defense? You know what? Screw it. I've already been wrong before, and you like to throw it at me, so I'm okay with it. Let's have some fun here. What wins championships?
Defense.
Give me the Texans. That defense is the number 2 defense, and if CJ Stroud cannot fumble the ball repeatedly and not throw stupid picks, um, I think the Texans have everything they need on defense to hold. Like the Chargers held them to 16, and this defense is significantly better than that defense. I think they're going to struggle to score a lot of points if the Texans can do just as much as the Chargers and can hold them to 16 points or less, maybe 17, maybe 20. But if you're getting in that under 20 range, I think the Texans have a very good chance of winning this game. So I'm going to take an elite defense.
Yeah, I personally was more concerned about how the Texans offense played than how the Patriots offense played. So I am gonna
Yeah,
keep
I
continue.
agree. My problem is though the Chargers sacked Drake May 5 times, and they don't have Will Anderson Jr. and they don't have Derek Stingley Jr. on the outside, and they couldn't throw the ball against the Chargers defense. And now you put a top 2 corner out there, and you put a one of the best pass rushers out there, and I like their linebacking core too to take away some of the tight ends. Like I I think this is going to be I think it's going to be a really close game, and I think the Texans defense is going to be the ultimate decider of how they can keep Drake May in check. Like I said, if they keep him to 20 points or less, they win this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm going to continue to take the Patriots, but this is going to be a very close game, I think, and I will not be shocked if it goes the other way. And then moving on to this last game we have coming up, it is the Rams and the Bears, and so we're going to start this game with
Bears.
the Rams and recapping the Rams and the Panthers. This is the game that we both thought was going to be a steamroll, but the Panthers did beat the Rams earlier this season. And it looked for a while in this game like the Panthers were going to beat the Rams again. You texted me in the fourth quarter of this game, like, what is happening? And I wasn't watching this game because I had things that I was doing. And I turned it on, and there was 2.5 minutes left, and the Panthers were winning. The Rams came out hot. It looked like it was going to be a blowout at the beginning of the game, and then a lot went wrong fast. Now they were able to right the ship towards the end, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah. We talked up this defense and that front seven, and what ultimately was the problem in this game that is why the Rams lost the first game and almost lost this game, I think, is that their secondary is very undersized. I think it's a small secondary and it struggles against big physical receivers. And that's what the Panthers have. Tedero McMillan is a big physical guy. Xavier Legette is even a big physical guy. Um, oh my gosh, who's their receiver I'm missing right now?
Coker.
Yeah, Jalen Coker, big guy. And they exposed those corners, and that passing game looked pretty good. Um, it was a fun game to watch because it was a nail biter, and you thought maybe this 8 and 9 team is going to beat the Rams. But ultimately, Matt Stafford got the job done. One thing I don't like is I don't think they ran the ball enough. Common theme here. It's the playoffs. Possession matters. Controlling the clock matters. Limiting the other team's offense matters. And that comes with good clock control, clock management, and using your run game effectively. And I think if they don't do this better this coming week, it's going to be a problem for them. But I really do think it came down to that secondary, which is the weak spot on this defense. Um, but it was just a bad matchup, I feel like, for them. I don't think there's a lot of teams that match up this poorly for the Rams with their receiving core versus the secondary. Um, and I just think it's one of those teams that, because of that matchup, they can exploit it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at how their running backs played throughout this game, they did run the ball 24 times between the two of them, but whenever you're splitting the carries so evenly, you can probably afford to run the ball probably closer to 30
Even more.
times, uh, especially when they're both averaging over 4 yards per carry. Kyron Williams, 13 for 57, that's 4.4 a carry. Blake Corum, 11 for 45, that's 4.1 a carry. Um, Now, granted, they were also doing pretty well for the most part throwing the ball. Matthew Stafford did have a bad pick, but he was also 24 42, 304 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Puka Nakua, 10 for 111 and a touchdown. Devontae Adams, 5 for 72. I mean, this team is able to put up points with their passing game. So I don't
Yeah.
really.
Here's my thing with the run game. Like you said, you can afford when you're splitting the carries like that. Let's think about these two. For the last several years, Kyron Williams was getting close to 30 carries a game. Like he was getting the entire workload. They didn't have a second running back. I mean, they did, but not really. Or he was at least getting
Ronnie
20 to
Rivers.
25 carries. Yeah, that doesn't count. Um, Cam Akers, no. He was getting 20 to 25 carries a game and was perfectly fine for an entire season. Blake Corum was the bell cow at Michigan and was getting 25 plus carries a game. Like they didn't throw the ball. That offense wasn't good. They didn't throw the ball. They just handed the ball up to Blake Corum. Like there's
You're telling me
both
nine wasn't
running back.
good?
Huh? Yeah,
You're telling me
9 wasn't
9
good,
wasn't
and he
good?
still isn't. Still isn't. Um, but these are both running backs who can carry the ball 20 to 30 times a game and be fine because they've done it before. You could run the ball 50 times if you really wanted to. I'm not saying you should because you have Puka and you have Devontae, but you are capable of it. And if you use this run game more, I think it would stretch the field even more than it already does.
Yeah, I'd agree. Like I said, if you give both of these running backs 15 carries each, um, maybe even a little
I
bit
think they
more, you
need.
could go to 17, 18.
I was
I
gonna
think,
say if Blake Corum gets like 12 to 15, and Kyron Williams gets like 20, I'm good with that. You're looking at 30 to 35 carries there.
yeah, and they're both going to be just fine throughout the rest of the
They're
playoffs.
effective either way. Yeah.
Um, and then let's talk about this other game. Uh, Packers start out great.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
Go ahead. No, you're good.
Okay.
You're good. Keep going.
Yeah, Packers start this game great. 21-3. Uh, to everyone that doesn't remember to last week's episode, I did predict the Bears to win. And to anyone
You
that doesn't
did.
remember a couple weeks ago, I remember how the Bears won the last time they won. So, at that point in the game, I texted Koty, and I want to try and bring up, if I can scroll back far enough, I want to try and bring up the text.
It's gonna take a while.
Yeah, I'll take a little bit because there's a lot of baseball stuff uh, that we're talking about, or that we are going to talk about in a future episode. But yeah, I don't know
Very
if I can.
soon. Be on the lookout.
Yeah, I don't know if I can. But basically, I was saying this was a very well coached first half by the Packers. And I hope it continues throughout the second half. And the reason why I was
Foreshadowing.
hoping was because I have no faith in this Packers coaching staff. And they showed me why. Second half, Bears outscored the Packers 28-6, end up winning the game 31-27. I want you to go first, and then I will give my loser statement.
It was a fun game for anyone not a Packers fan. Um, the first half was real fun for Packers fans. Like watching that first half, I was like, man, the Packers are just gonna stomp on the Bears, and we're gonna both look like idiots here. Um,
I would have been fine with
but
that.
then the second half happened, and they fell apart. Um, I have concerns about Caleb Williams still. First playoff game. My problem with it was when his feet were set, he was sailing the ball over people. But when he had to run around like a psychopath and throw off a back foot, falling over, he was dotting up receivers. So it doesn't make sense for me. Um, how when you have time he struggled, but it's 4th and 8 and I run out to the left and I fall backwards and I throw a dime to keep the game alive. um, he was doing it repeatedly. So I've got concerns about Caleb Williams. He's got all the weapons in the world. Their defense, like we've talked about, is good enough. um, but this was a really fun game to watch. um, but it did make me question a couple of things. And as far as the Packers, like you got to figure out how to run the ball and waste clock.
Yeah, so going off of that, I want to start out by talking to all the Packers fans out there who say this loss was on Jordan Love. Don't be stupid. Because this was not on Jordan Love. Jordan Love was awesome in this game, especially in the first half. 9 of 15, 155 yards, 3 touchdowns in the first half. Finished the game with... I wanted to make sure I got that stat line right if you heard me tapping on my keyboard. Throughout the game, 24-46, 323 yards, 4 touchdowns. I believe he is the third quarterback in NFL history to have a game with over 300 yards, 4 more touchdowns, and no turnovers, and lose a playoff game. I believe the other two are Josh Allen and Alex Smith. So, a historic game for a loss. Another thing I have to say is if you look at the injured reserve for the Packers going in this game, or just the players that are out, on defense, Micah Parsons, Devontae Wyatt, Edgerrin Cooper. 3 of probably the 5 most important players on our defense. You look at the offense, Tucker Kraft, number 1 tight end, out. Top 5 tight end in the NFL, I would argue right now. Dontavian Wicks. For some reason, Dontavian Wicks is a starter. So, him being out does affect us. I do actually think Dontavian Wicks being out made us better because it made us use Matthew Golden a little bit more. But Dontavian Wicks, out. Elton Jenkins, our number 1 offensive lineman, out. And Zach Tom, our number 2 offensive lineman, out. And Elton Jenkins' backup also got hurt during this game. Now Micah Parsons...
Weren't you also with Zach Tom?
Yeah, I said Zach Tom.
Okay, I missed that. I was like, he originally was supposed to play and then didn't.
Yeah, so Micah Parsons alone is the difference between the Packers being 1-2 and the Packers being 3-0 against the Bears this season. So my official statement is we will be fine. This was a very unfortunate season for us from injuries. Injuries happen, and I will take that on the chin. That happens. Now there's a lot of Bears fans out there who are celebrating this, as they should, because I think completely different about Caleb Williams that you do. I think Caleb Williams is a legit, dog.
No, I agree. I think he has that it factor, and he showed it late in the game. And when those clutch situations happened, he was good. It was the other stuff that concerned me. Like when he had time in the pocket, he was overthrowing receivers, and I'm like, what is happening? Why are you so good in these other moments that we're struggling when you actually have time? So maybe he's just one of those quarterbacks that needs to roll out, that needs to be on the move when he throws, and that's fine. But when he has that time to set his feet and to put everything behind a throw, he's got to figure out how to hit these receivers and not sail balls on them.
I also think if you look back to a lot of the Bears games throughout the season, I think Caleb Williams is one of those guys that plays better when there's a lot of pressure on the line.
I agree. And that's when he was best.
Yeah, they were down 21-3, and he pulled this game together in the second half. He pulled this team together, and they played like a legit team. I think Caleb Williams is a legit NFL quarterback. I think he's real, and I think he is going to make... He's one of the reasons why the NFC North, for the next 10 years, is probably going to be the most dangerous division in the NFL.
You know who's not making it that? Number 9. He's trash. Like I called him.
We're not talking about him. But yeah, I also think if you look at a lot of things that... dumb Bears fans. Because I pointed out all that stuff, and of course Bears fans being Bears fans had 2 different responses. One of them was attempting to use some sort of facts that made them look even dumber. Because I pointed out all those injuries and said, oh, well, we didn't have Noah Sewell, and we lost Ozzie Trapilio and TJ Edwards during the game. Okay.
And
that I don't think that makes a difference. Yeah, I don't think that makes the difference between losing all
you
the
can
players
have them, and the Packers would like Micah Parsons back. We'll just take 1 for all of them. I think they would make that trade.
And the other dumb comment I saw was haha, L. Which I respect more because I think it takes
That's
a
just
lot of,
trolling, and I love it.
yeah, it takes a lot of self awareness to know you're dumb and just post a dumb comment. So good on the Bears
Hey,
fans who are
they
saying,
haven't won since a week after Pearl Harbor. Calm down. Let them have one.
yeah, so,
It's been a rough, what, 83 years or something?
well, they've also only played 3 times in the playoffs
Three
ever.
times, yeah.
And their last one was
And now they have
2011.
the
So,
series lead.
yeah. But, yeah, credit to the Bears fans who are at least going to embrace being stupid and say, well, L.
Oh man.
But yeah, this game was the Bears Super Bowl. If you if
Wow.
you look at even Ben Johnson's response, if you look at how he talked about how he talked to his team, it
How did
wasn't
you talk about the Packers?
it wasn't look at this game that we played. We came back from down 21-3 at halftime. We came together as a team. Caleb Williams, we rallied around our quarterback, Caleb Williams, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, which I do think he is turning into one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And we won this game against our biggest rivals. It was F the Packers. I hate the Packers. If
Oh, I
that
love it as a rivalry.
if that doesn't tell you that this was the Bears Super Bowl, I don't know what does. Now,
Listen,
again, I'm not one of those Packers fans that are going to feel sorry for themselves and say, "Oh, well, he was mean, so he should apologize." I'll take it on the chin. But just know this was your Super Bowl, and that is as close as you're going to get.
listen.
Because you
As
also
a
had
as a sports fan, I don't care what team it is. I'm gonna tell you right now, Blues Blackhawks, we're in the playoffs and we beat the Blackhawks. That's my natural reaction. Like, we can go on and win the cup, cool, but I don't care round one or Western Conference Finals. If we beat the Blackhawks, that's my response because of my hatred towards them. So I'll allow it
and
as not a Super Bowl moment for them, but it is a stepping stone for them.
to be fair though, us beating the Blackhawks in the playoffs is our Stanley Cup.
Was a stepping stone for us
That's our
so that
Stanley
we
Cup.
finally got over. Because there's always those teams that are like Big Brother that has beaten you for years, that you just can't seem to beat them. And you need to take that step and finally beat them. Whether it's that year that you go on and win it all, or it's a year or two down the line, you have to get over that. And the Bears did that this year. They got out from under Big Brother. Is this the year? I don't think it is, but could it be in a couple of years? Yeah, I think they have all the pieces they need to make that happen. Um, you know, fix, add some stuff on the defense would make me happy. And I think their offense, they have all the weapons that they need. It's just Caleb Williams developing more, getting more experience, and putting it all together. So I think this is a very dangerous team now and in the future. Um, but I do think it is that stepping stone of beating Big Brother.
Yeah. Um, and then last thing I'll say
Sorry,
about
Big
this
Brother.
game on the Packers side, uh, I think the Packers did a lot wrong. And I think that's something that needs to be changed in the offseason. For one, can we please get a secondary?
No,
Can we not
no,
play Keyshawn Nixon as our number one corner
that would be
and
good.
say that's good
I,
enough?
listen, I've said it time and time again. Like every draft pick this year, the first like three should all be for the secondary. Like you need nothing but secondary, and this team would be a legit contender. But you can't
Um,
have a secondary like that and expect to win.
Secondly, can we ban Brandon McManus from ever stepping foot in the state of Wisconsin again?
Oh, what?
Because
I forgot about
Brandon,
all the missed field goals.
he missed 2 missed field goals and an extra point. If he makes one of those kicks, any one of those kicks, pick which one. Um, this
Minimum
is
of
at
overtime, if
minimum
not
a
winning.
tie game. If it's just the extra point, it's a tie game going into overtime. If it's one of the
If he
field
doesn't miss
goals,
another field goal.
Yeah, that's fair. If he misses one of the field goals, or if he makes one of those field goals that he misses, the game is over. The
Yep.
Packers win that game.
Yep.
Um, there was a lot, but there was a lot of mistimed mistakes. Jaden Reed dropped a ball that bounced off his hands that he said he stayed up till 5 a.m. thinking about. Jordan
But
Love, for as great of a game as he played, 13 seconds left, I believe, in the game, just airmailed a ball that was supposed to go to Christian Watson. And if he makes that throw, that's a touchdown. That ends the game. Uh, we There's something about Matt LaFleur that refuses to run the ball and kill clock. I don't even care if the run game is working. Just get time off the clock and don't let them score 25 points in the fourth quarter. Because I'm old enough to remember when Matt LaFleur was on the sidelines of 28-3, on the Falcons sidelines of 28-3. This is not anything new for Matt LaFleur. And this is why I've been saying since the last Bears loss, Matt LaFleur should no longer be the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. Now, I've always known that wasn't going to be the case. We're actually talking about extending Matt LaFleur. Uh, Yay me. But yeah, I think there needs to be changes.
I think there's a reason that they extend him. Like, here's my thing. Um, Full disclosure, I love ESPN radio. I listen to Kerry Davis, former Super Bowl champion, Pittsburgh Steelers, talk about this all the time, and I agree with him on it. Because of the point he makes, you don't hire DCs as head coaches. You hire OCs as head coaches because inevitably, if that DC that is hired as a head coach succeeds, his offensive coordinator is going to get poached and you start your offense all over again year after year whenever they're good. You hire an OC, he brings his offense as the head coach and it's in place. And then you bring whatever in. So if you already have a head coach that was a former offensive coordinator, you're running his offense, especially if he's the play caller, they're going to re-sign him. They're going to keep him because those are hard to come by.
And I agree. I would just like an offensive coordinator that knows how to milk clock. That's what
Oh,
I want.
ask Atlanta about that.
I know, like I said, he was on the sidelines for 28-3.
Exactly.
um but yeah, if one of those mistakes don't happen, the Packers win this game. They don't. Um Biggest thing that I do think made the difference was the fact that we didn't have Micah Parsons. 9-3-1 with Micah Parsons this season. Number 2 seed in the NFC. Without him, we were 0-5.
Oh, maybe
And
you got one.
no, we. If I pull this back up, we were also beating the Broncos. So that was the first game that is a loss. But we were beating the Broncos when he got hurt. Lost to the Broncos, lost to the Bears, lost to the Ravens, lost to the Vikings, lost to the Bears again.
Vikings.
Yeah, 16-3. So, but that was also with our third strings playing. But yeah, there's a
Okay,
lot
that's
that
better.
if
Oh, was that week
anything,
18?
yeah. But
Okay,
there's a
that's
lot that happened that if anything changes, the Packers are winning, or the Packers are moving on, and they're playing, I believe, the Seahawks this week. So we would have lost anyway. But uh,
no.
yeah, because we were the 7 seed, so we would have played the 1 seed.
Oh, you are the 7. Okay,
But yeah, a lot could have went
been
right
different.
in
Yeah,
this game. It didn't. Uh,
that's fair.
gotta give credit where it's due. This was a great game by the Bears. Um, I hope we make changes in the offseason. I know we're gonna make at least one because Jeff Hafley is gonna be a head coach next year, and whoever gets him, I hope they're very happy with him. I'll be very happy with his replacement. But going off of that, we do have a game since we've talked about the Packers for 15 minutes, or I talked about the Packers for 15 minutes.
You're welcome.
Uh, let's talk about the Bears and the Rams. How do you see this game going?
Well, I picked the Rams to win the Super Bowl, so I'm gonna stay with the Rams here. Um, like I said before, the Rams' biggest weakness is their secondary, and Caleb Williams does have weapons, but I think the Rams' biggest weakness, like I said, is against big physical receivers. And outside of DJ Moore, I don't see them being as problematic. My biggest concern is honestly Colston Loveland looked like an absolute animal in that game. So is the Rams linebackers going to be able to contain him? And I do like their linebacking group. I think it is good enough to be able to at least hold him in check. Um, so I think this defense will play better against the Bears than it did against the Panthers. I think it's a better matchup for them. Um, I'm gonna enjoy seeing what Caleb Williams looks like under complete duress almost all game with that front four or five, because they will get to him because they are excellent. And we'll see what that looks like. Because, like I said, I thought he looked good under pressure when he was running around. So maybe that's a good thing for him. He doesn't have enough time to think. He just does. And I think his natural ability is really good when he doesn't have to second guess himself. So maybe it's a benefit to him. But we've been saying this about the Bears defense all year. It is bend, don't break. I think it's going to break against this offense. Um, I mean, Kevin Byard led the league in interceptions this year, so they have pieces to take the ball away. But we're talking Puka Nakua and Devontae Adams here. Um, and Puka, like even with that, like Puka played corner basically last week because Stafford threw a terrible ball up, and Puka had to go up and take it out of a defender's hands to not let him have an interception. So I think that this offense is going to be a lot, and I really do think it comes down to, is Sean McVay going to be patient enough to run the football? Because if he is, I think they win this game. If they're not, then I think it's going to be a lot closer game. But I'm still taking the Rams. I think there's too much talent on both sides of the ball for the Rams to not win this game. I think Caleb Williams had his coming out party in the playoffs to prove, hey, I can do this in the playoffs too. I'm legit. I'm going to be an excellent quarterback. I got out from under Big Brother. I think that was the stepping stone. I don't think that is the final push to make it this year. And I think the Rams are going to be the problem for them.
Yeah, I think the Bears. I think this is the game that I almost considered changing my mind on. Because I think whenever
Fair.
you have a quarterback like Caleb Williams, who, like you said, he's having his coming out party. I don't think it's the kind of coming out party we were expecting Caleb Williams to have this year, but it is a coming out party of sorts. Uh, whenever he's having a season like he's having, it's hard to bet against that guy. I didn't expect that to get you that badly.
That was amazing.
It's hard to bet against that guy. But kind of like you said, I think whenever you have an offense like this against a bend don't break defense, it's hard for that defense to not break.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How many adult men in Chicago are painting their fingernails this week?
I mean, I think they already have been.
Yeah, it's probably.
I hate all Chicago sports. For everyone that is anyone
I
that's
like one.
new.
I like one Chicago sports team.
Is it the Bulls?
I like two Chicago sports teams. I do like the Bulls, but I also grew up in the '90s watching MJ and Pippen. So Scotty's my boy. No, I also like the Chicago White Sox because they hate the Cubs just as much as I do. So I can root with them in
They
our
barely
hatred.
count as a professional sports team, though.
Yeah, but they still hate the Cubs, so I'm on board.
Yeah, so I considered picking the Bears in this game, but I just can't do it. I won't do it. I refuse to do it. It is
Have a principle.
January 16th, 2025. The Packers are out of the playoffs, and the Bears still suck. Um,
That's
that
the
is
kind
my
of
final.
sports rivalry I love.
That is my
Right
final
there.
statement.
And while we're
Um,
there, suck it, Blackhawks
and Cubs.
and Cubs. You can
I saw
suck it as well.
I saw something.
You
We're
lost Kyle Tucker. Suck it.
we're gonna switch to baseball for like 30 seconds. I saw something right before we got on here saying
Sorry,
from
football
a Cubs
fans, you hate
fan
us.
saying, "Oh, if we sign Cody Bellinger, we're gonna win the National League this year." And I was like, "I think you're
No,
gonna wake up
you're
first."
gonna you're you're not winning the National League. Maybe the NL Central. You're not beating the Dodgers.
Not even the NL Central. Cody, before we get out of here, we didn't talk about this last week because everything wasn't fully set in stone in terms of what openings were going to be available. But I do think now it is. I don't think anyone else is going to be getting fired. I don't think anyone else is necessarily going to leave their jobs. I think what we have is what we get. So, of all the head coaching vacancies in the NFL, which I am sorry if you hear me tapping again, but I am going to pull these up because I don't even remember. There's like 8 or 9 coaching
There's a
vacancies
lot of
already.
them. I don't remember all of them either.
Um, there is the. Is this going to tell me all of them without me scrolling? Absolutely not. Sorry, guys. I should have had this pulled up already. Um,
Did the Bucks end up firing their coach?
no.
They should.
Yeah, but they're not.
They should.
Um, so there's the
I
Cardinals,
think they fired their DC.
the Falcons, the Ravens, the Browns, the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Giants. We'll call that a vacancy for now, but it seems like it's
It's not
filled.
a vacancy. Harbaugh's going there. They're just figuring out the deal.
The Steelers and the Titans. Did you remember all those?
Sure.
Give me a freaking picture of them.
Tell me what you want me to answer. I can remember most of them.
I want to talk. Give me some vacancies that you think are good spots and spots that people should avoid.
Number one spot, I think that coaches should be trying to get is the Ravens. I think Baltimore has the best situation. You have a franchise quarterback who has won multiple MVPs. Now, I'm not as high on him as everyone else, but you still have that guy. What is the hardest thing to get? A quarterback. You have nothing if you don't have a quarterback. And a lot of these situations have nothing because they don't have a quarterback. So the best spots are the spots that have a franchise quarterback or what people think to be a franchise quarterback in place. That's why, for me, when Harbaugh left the Ravens, the only spot that made sense for me was for him to go to New York because they have Jackson Dart in place, and I think he is a franchise quarterback. So that was my other spot that I thought was the best was them. And then after that, it gets a little dicey. Um, I think maybe Atlanta is my next spot that I like. It depends on how you feel about Michael Penix Jr. If you think he is going to be a guy that can stay healthy at some point in his career, um, I think it has good pieces. You've got Bijan, who is an absolute beast. So I think that is very enticing. Um, if you think Shador is a guy, then Cleveland should be really enticing because that defense is Super Bowl ready. That is a legit defense in the NFL. It's a top three. Um, I don't think Shador is a guy, so I am not on that train. Um, but I think you could make an argument for it. The rest of them, I don't want to touch Miami. Like dealing with Tua and that, like they just need to cut him and just deal with the consequences of the cap because he cannot be on your roster. but I don't think Quinn Ewers is the guy either, even though he had a decent week 18. Um, the Titans roster is just bad in general. It's the worst roster in football. There's not anything I like on it. I do think that Cam Ward could be a guy, but I don't like anything else on their roster. Um, the Raiders, terrible. Um, you can make an argument that the Raiders could be something, but gosh, it's so bad, and that division is tough. Like you got to look at that too. Steelers, I don't like it for one reason, maybe two. You don't have a quarterback. First, biggest problem. Second, you're going to go in there, and with what this roster looks like, you're probably going to be the coach that ends the streak of over 500. And I don't want my name on that, but it's what needs to happen if this franchise is going to actually be good again and not just decent, because they can't, or they need to give up multiple picks and go get a quarterback at some point. This is not the draft for it. Um, but at some point you have to do that, or you need to trade for a quarterback, or you need to hit on a reclamation project. Um, but you got to get something at quarterback because you can't just keep doing what you've been doing and picking 20 something and not getting a guy. Um, Arizona, I don't like it. I don't want to deal with Kyler's situation. I don't like a lot of like their defense isn't good. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a bust. Um, yeah, I don't like that a lot. Um, but yeah, so for me, the big ones I'm looking at is it's Ravens, it's Giants, and probably Atlanta, Cleveland are my next two that are probably the best situations. Um, Worst case is every other team I think are bad. For me, like if I'm a head coach and I'm leaving my job looking for another one, unless I'm like a first time head coach or I'm just trying to get paid, like I'm not taking those other jobs. Um, I'm interested to see what happens with Mike Tomlin. Does he want to keep coaching? Does he want to step away for a year or two and wait for a situation he likes? Is he willing to go to the Ravens? Like that would be insane to me, but I think him going to the Ravens would be perfect. He's got a quarterback. They are not good defensively, and he could fix them, I think. Um, I think it would be really fun, and Steelers fans would hate it, and it would just create even a better rivalry between them.
Have you seen the interview that the Ravens owner did, or the press
Well,
conference that he did?
was it if Luke made that field goal, would Harbaugh still be the coach? And he
Yeah,
said, "Yeah, one more week."
yeah. And
Yeah,
did you see
that
the
was
whole thing though?
no, I didn't watch the whole thing. I just saw that clip and I went,
Go
"Oh,
go
okay."
watch it. The guy needs to be in front of a microphone every week.
Is he
Uh,
another James Winston?
he's awesome. He's this Italian dude who looks about as Italian as it gets.
Yeah, I saw
Uh,
him.
and he had probably 5 or 6 different lines that were pure gold. And
Good. I'm gonna watch that.
a reporter asked him, "Would you consider hiring Mike Tomlin?" And he was like, "I think I'd love Mike Tomlin, but also I think he disqualified himself when he was beating his chest about moving on in the playoffs when our kicker missed a field goal."
Oh, I think it would be an awesome fit though.
I think that's the only fit for him because I agree with you. I think the Giants and the Ravens are the two best options. The fact that the Giants were viewing as a great option is wild to me, but
Because they have a
it's
quarterback. Like that's what it comes down to in the NFL now. Do you have someone who can lead an offense? The answer, no. I also saw a meme that was amazing. This- It was an AI generated one, and it was like Harbaugh sitting there in New York, and like Jackson Dart was standing next to him, and then Cam Scattaboo was like on his hands and knees with a squirrel in his mouth, and it was like Scattaboo has brought his new master a squirrel as signs of transferring power over to him. I was like, this is hilarious. It's so dumb, but I'm like,
I
please
saw
let the crayon eaters eat. I'm so excited to see what Harbaugh does with Cam Scatterbo. Like it is gonna be filthy.
I saw a Happy Gilmore meme of it being like Jim
Oh,
Harbaugh meeting Cam Scatterbo for the first time, and
he's
it's
just taking shots
Adam
in the
Sandler
batting
just
cages.
yeah. But anyway,
Yes.
going back to coaches, uh, yeah, Giants and Ravens I think are the two best ones. I agree with you that next tier is kind of the Browns and the Falcons. I think the Titans might be involved in that scenario just because
Just hate their
having
everything on their roster is bad.
I agree, but I think they do have their quarterback, and I think
I
that
do too.
is
It's a
harder
big deal.
to. Yeah, I think that's
That's a
harder
big deal.
to get than everything else on the roster.
Do
And
you
then
here's hold
I
on,
think the
question.
yeah,
If Dante Moore had not gone back to Oregon and he was available in this draft, do you think the Raiders job would be a little more appealing?
well, that's the thing. I think the Raiders can also currently be a very appealing option because it just depends on what you think about Fernando Mendoza. Because they're gonna end up with Fernando
Oh, I guess
Mendoza,
they are first. Yeah.
uh, and I don't know.
Yeah,
It
but
just
they're going to
depends.
trade Max Crosby this offseason, and that defense is not good except for him.
Yeah, but again, I think you can
And their
rebuild that.
offensive line sucks, and they don't have great weapon. Like they've got Brock Bowers and they've got Ashton Genty. Like you've got big name pieces there, but I don't like the other weapons around them.
Yeah, I think it's I don't think
If
it's
you
a
like
great.
Mendoza, then you can be sold on it. That's fine. I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think it's a great situation, but you have a franchise quarterback if you view Fernando Mendoza as that, a franchise running back and a franchise tight end. Everything else can very easily fall into place around that. I do think you need to hit on offensive linemen, and I think you need
Like
to hit on defense.
D line.
But I think that can be
Does Crosby get a first?
a fairly enticing spot. Oh, at least
Okay. Well, that would
Max
make a big
Crosby's
difference too.
Max Crosby's a top five edge rusher in the NFL.
Yeah,
He'll
100%.
get probably two firsts and maybe
And
more.
then that would be more enticing then if that happens. Um, Two questions for you. One, outside of Tomlin and Harbaugh, who for you is that guy that you need to go get? Like, who's the name besides the two big ones that you go and get them? And two, does Mike McDaniels actually accept an OC job with Detroit?
I think that would
If
probably
like
be.
he doesn't like the jobs that are out there right now, like go to Detroit, have a good season, fix their issues, and then you're the pick of the litter next year and you have your choice.
I'll answer that second question first. I think that's probably his best option. Because I believe the only interview he's had so far is the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, which again, not a horrible option, but you also didn't have a horrible option when you first got to Miami, and it turned into a horrible option very quickly. Um, I think his best option right now is to take a good OC job, and it seems like that's what a lot of the reports are saying is he'd rather take a good OC job than a bad head coach job.
I was gonna say
Um,
he's going to the Bucks to visit them for their OC job too.
yeah, I think I would probably rather take that over the Browns head coaching job right now. But also, I think if you have a shot at the Lions head coaching or the Lions
Atlanta.
offensive coordinator job. Oh, you said Atlanta.
Atlanta also interviewed him for head coach.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think all those. If you get the shot to be the Lions offensive coordinator, you take it. Um, but I think I'd rather take. I think between all those jobs, it's Lions OC, Falcons head coach, Bucks OC,
So ski
Browns head
Cleveland head
coach.
coach. Um,
And then what was the
Also,
first question
if
you asked me?
hold on, oh, before we get to the first question, can you imagine Dan Campbell and Mike McDaniels together? I feel like Dan Campbell's just gonna beat him up.
I actually don't want that to happen anymore because I'm a Packers fan and I really don't want more reasons to root for the Lions.
How insane would those two clash of personalities be?
It would be so funny.
I think it would be hilarious. Please, if that happens, they have to be on Hard Knocks. Like, I think it would be absolutely insane to watch. Okay. Anyway, back to the first question. Who is the guy that teams should be
Oh, that's
going
right.
out and being like, that's the guy I need to go get after Harbaugh and Tomlin?
So
Is there someone out there?
I know we haven't, or we just talked about how offensive coordinators are the best options to have as head coaches. I think the two best options that come to mind are two guys that have interviewed for head coach jobs over the past few years. And I don't know if it's because there was actual interest or because of the Rooney rule or what is it. But
We're going to go with guys that I have on my list. I have three guys
I
that I
think
think should be the top.
yeah, I think the best options right now, at least that are coming to mind off the top of my head, are Brian Flores and Patrick Graham.
Oh, I didn't have Graham on my list. I did
Uh,
have, I definitely had Brian Flores on my list. I think he should absolutely be there. I don't know if there's trust with franchises
why?
after all that went down with Miami.
It's stupid.
Like, I just think how it went down with the back and forth, with the suing, all that stuff. Like, I think there's some teams that might be scared away from that, even though there shouldn't be. But I think Brian Flores is a like if Brian Flores goes to like he's an awesome defensive coach. If he goes to the Ravens, oh my gosh, I love that team and what he
Yeah.
could do with it.
And I think Patrick Graham is a very good defensive minded coach too. He might be one of those guys that are better as a DC than as a head coach. But
Just
the
fags
Ra-
type of
the
guy.
Ra- the Raiders' defensive issues have been because the Raiders' defense is bad. It is not because of their defensive scheme. So I do really like Patrick Graham.
I had two. I have one more DC and one OC. So for the DC, which again we talked about hiring the OC, I think Robert Sala is gonna get another job.
Yeah.
Um, he has been excellent with that 49ers defense, and they have been beat up, and he's still finding a way to get them to perform and to compete and to win football games. So I think, anyone with the Jets, take it with a grain of salt. But I think Robert Sala is one of those guys with Brian Flores that I'm putting up there. If I have to go take a DC, those are my two guys that I really really like. Um, and then my other one, if I'm taking an OC, I think maybe going after Clint Kubiak might be the best bet from Seattle. Um, I know they don't score a ton of points, but they have Sam Darnold and two terrible running backs, and I just think that he is probably like Mike McDaniels is a better offensive mind. I just don't think he's gonna take one of those jobs. So I guess my answer would be Mike McDaniels would be that guy. He's just rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I think this year with some of his stuff, like seems like he kind of gave up on the team at the end, which you know fair. Like his quarterback died on the field multiple times, and his defense is trash. And Tyreek was Tyreek, and like there were a lot of things in Miami. Was that his fault though? Like I don't know if he played a role in letting it get to that point. But if it's offensive minds, like I think he's the best offensive mind available. But if it's not him, then I think Clint Kubiak is that next OC.
Two things. One, I think I misspoke earlier. I feel like earlier I said Jesse Minter was the offensive coordinator for the Chargers.
You
He's the
did.
defensive coordinator.
You
Uh,
did.
I can't remember off the top of my head who the offensive coordinator is for the Chargers, but I believe both of them are head coaching candidates right now. But Jesse Minter is
Um,
the one getting more love, so he is the defensive coordinator. So that's my bad. Um, but
is
yeah,
it
looking
Greg
at
Roman still?
it might be no, it's a guy. It's a guy that Harbaugh brought with him. I don't know. Uh, but another name that I think, looking at it
It
now,
was Greg Roman. He got fired 1 day ago.
oh, I don't know who I'm thinking of then. That is, I might just be thinking of Jesse Minter and got confused what he was. But yeah, I think another name to look out for is Mike LaFleur, the Rams offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
He
you always
is,
gotta look at Sean McVay, guys.
yeah. And also Kevin Stefanski. I think Kevin
I
Stefanski is,
forgot about Stefanski. I love him. Yeah, he's on my top list. He's up there at
yeah,
the top.
Kevin Stefanski's
For
a good coach. He was just in a terrible situation. He had
yeah,
two seasons where the Browns went to the playoffs, and one of them was with 40-year-old Joe Flacco.
Stefanski's the. I should have added him into my top three list of like outside of Harbaugh and Tomlin and Stefanski. I think those are a group above everybody.
Yeah, so my top list, in my opinion, outside of Harbaugh, I don't think Tomlin's going to coach this year. I think he's going to
I
take a
don't
year
either.
off, and I only think he'll ever coach again if he gets a good situation. But my top list: Flores, Graham, Mike LaFleur, and Stefanski.
I think Stefanski's above them, but I really want to see like I loved Brian Flores in Miami and what he did with that team, and then how it all went down ticked me off because he was so good there. Um, I can't wait for him to get another job and see what he does because I really like Brian Flores, and I do think Sala is going to be a good head coach again.
And Salah too. Yeah, those are probably my top five.
I just think the Jets, nobody is good there, so that doesn't count. What it's like in an interview? What did you learn from your time as the coach of the Jets? To not coach the Jets. That's what I learned because no one can win there because they're trash. Sorry, Jets fans. It's a terribly
I'm
run
not.
franchise.
I wanted to be sorry for them when they had Aaron Rodgers, and then they treat Aaron Rodgers like they did for to sign Justin Fields.
Listen, Aaron Rodgers brings a lot upon himself, so you can love him all you want, but he causes some of his own
And you
drama.
did that to bring in Justin Fields. I don't feel bad for
Yeah,
you.
who sucks balls.
That's. I think that's gonna be where we end this episode. Uh, we've made a lot of
Hey,
jokes that
I
people are gonna
want
be mad
people
at
in the
us now.
This is what I want. People who listen and get ticked off about us about things. Cool. I don't care. Um, I want to know who's going where. Give me your predictions of what coach is going to end up where because I have no idea where this is going to happen. There's been like 72 interviews in like 4 days. Um, and I'm very interested. So whether it's what you think is going to happen, or even better, give me your best fits. Where do you want to see these guys go that you think can fix these franchises?
Yeah, and let us, all the Bears fans out there, the low IQ Bears fans, let us know how mad you
Hate
are at
on
me for.
Kyle. Hate on Kyle because he's hurt.
It's okay. I know a lot about low IQ fans, and we're going to talk about some other low IQ fans when we
Oh,
do our next baseball episode. It's going to
oh
be a good
gosh, we're
time.
gonna tick some people off.
So if you guys like what we do, if you like us
Or
telling people
don't.
they're stupid, if you like us making jokes that make most people upset, let us know. Let us know if you don't like it.
Sorry, Caleb Williams. He's very hurt, but it was very funny.
Yeah, so please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcast, do all the things. I don't know. We've been going for an hour 38, hour 39. If you guys have listened to us for an hour 39 through this, I hope you had a
You're
good
some
time.
savages, and we love you.
So with that, we will see you guys next time.
See you.